Hi folks, me again, and yeah, well, as you can see, I'm not a dirty guy. I change my clothes regularly, but well, I have to do a little recording marathon here. I told you about the internet issues, so yeah, and instead of doing a nice video with nice fonts, going through the yeah through your monitor or over your monitor and saying number 10, this match, that match, and maybe even boo, whatever. I wanted to do a little bit with the videos because, well, you having to look at my ugly face all the time while I'll talk, it's not the best solution, but well, it has to do for now because, well, without internet you cannot do that much because, well, I don't have 20,000 pics for the certain WrestleManias and the main events especially. So well, instead of doing a nice video, you still have to look at me. Deal with it. I don't have my sunglasses now, but deal with it. So, the best WrestleMania main events. Well, the first one, number 10, and excuse me if I have to look here a little bit because, well, I had a little bit of stuff recorded, but, well, without a video, that just sucks. Oh, well, anyway, the number 10, last year's WrestleMania main event. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And the match itself, yeah, well, was your typical Lesnar match. He dominates. He takes Roman Reigns, the Roman Empire, to Suplex City, bitch. And, yeah, well, then he gets busted open, and that was the perfect example as to why Reigns is not as over as the WWE wants him to be, because he hulks up, or I don't know, he Romans down, or Romans left, he Reigns right, I don't know. He does this whole hulking up routine, and then suddenly he is back, and it's like he has never received a single suplex during this match, and he hasn't suffered enough, and at least they made it credible with Lesnar being busted open. But Seth Rollins saves the day, cashes in the Money in the Bank suitcase, and well, I'm not a fan of the Money in the Bank suitcase, but this time it really saved the day, and in the end made for a nice match. Well, overall, the build-up was not that great, but it was fun to watch and really, really nice. At number 9, I have the WrestleMania 15 version of The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was the first huge encounter, and I mean, it was 1999, and the Austin McMahon feud was as hot as ever, and the whole stuff with The Rock, well, at Survivor Series 1998, being the corporate champion. Well, and the Royal Rumble 99, was it 1999 or 1998, where he faced Mankind in an I Quit match? I believe it was 1999. I'm not too sure about that right now. Well, anyway, the feud, Austin and Rock, they always work magic in the ring. Well, if you look at it from a neutral standpoint, some of the stuff they did looked a little bit silly, like their punches. Nobody punches like, and that's just silly. But well, still, they too had stellar chemistry, and the build-up was great, and the atmosphere, it just felt huge. And the match itself, of course, was good. At number 8, I have HBK versus Austin at WrestleMania. You guessed it, WrestleMania 14. And yeah, well, the I Quit match was 1999, because otherwise this wouldn't make much sense. So, yeah, HBK versus Austin. This is where the WWE did it right with the celebrity Mike Tyson. It added a lot to the match, and it really brought put WWE back on the map, because Austin, the toughest SOB in wrestling, against the toughest SOB on the planet, and they collide. Well, and of course the match was great too, but the whole atmosphere around it, the build-up, that was great, and the match, well, it's an HBK match at WrestleMania. How bad can it be? So obviously, great match. And at number 8. Number 7, Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 19. One of those competitors for the best WrestleMania. Many people for a long time always talk about WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 19. Which one is better? WrestleMania 17 is better if you like gimmicky matches. 19 is better if you like wrestling. I don't care. This one was the main event of one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. Not the greatest, but one of the greatest. And, well, Angle, back in that day, he still, in 2003, he still could really go. He still could go in 2009. 2010, it started to decline because, well, it was TNA. Not Kurt Angle's fault, I think. And he got older, of course. But here, Lesnar versus Angle. Lesnar, the next big thing. Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist. And, yeah, well, both are legitimately great wrestlers, amateur wrestlers. So, of course, it works. Lesnar was not the beast he now is, but still it worked and was a great match in every aspect, and especially the finish, or shortly before the finish. Lesnar, I mean, only for this spot, this match has to be on this list. The rest really makes it deserve this, but this one spot alone, it makes this match an absolute must-see. Lesnar attempting a shooting star press. I mean, just think about it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's hilarious. Well, it's not hilarious afterwards because he lands on his head. He has a bad concussion, but the look is like, makes you cringe. Great match. Great match. Number 6, WrestleMania 24, Undertaker versus Edge. Undertaker, yeah. When the streak was great, or started to really get great, or have great matches, when Undertaker really started to have great matches each WrestleMania. Well, because there were some suckers in the beginning, or there were a lot of suckers in the beginning, not entirely his fault because, well, show me the guy who can wrestle a classic with Giant Gonzalez, and, well, you can't show him to me because that wrestler doesn't exist. Not even Daniel Bryan could do it. So, Taker versus Edge. Nice storyline with Edge being, yeah, well, this whole stuff with Taker Edge, they feuded for a long time in 2008. This whole stuff with Vicky Guerrero, she really knew how to unnerve people with her voice. I forgot what she always said. It doesn't matter. It's just I'm lucky. I'm really happy and lucky that I got this one out of my brain. Still, it's a great feud. Was a great feud. They had a lot of good matches, and of course at WrestleMania, Hawkins and Ryder, the two Goonies Edge had at the time. Were it Hawkins, Ryder? I think those were the two. They're side notes. It was fun to watch, and because Taker in that year he still was, yeah, not really past his prime. Maybe even still in his prime. Or looking at the matches he had at WrestleMania, he still was in his prime, and Edge was as great as ever, as hot as ever. So, of course, they worked magic that night. At number 5, 1 year before, 2007, WrestleMania 23, John Cena versus HBK. Well, a lot of great stuff happened there. I mean, as I said, HBK at WrestleMania, what can go wrong? HBK brought out the best in so many performers, and John Cena, of course, he knows his way around the ring too. Many people don't give him the credit he deserves because, yeah, well, he's not a great technical wrestler, but he knows how to tell a story, and even if his selling at times is a little bit shaky, he still, yeah, he just works in the ring. He's a workhorse, and what he does in the ring in the end he makes a match big. And this match was not only big because it was an HBK match, it was a big match because John Cena had his part in it too. And well, yeah, they told a nice story. Of course, there was a little bit of blood. And if HBK bleeds, he bleeds. Well, that would be a nice 10 count. The 10 best bleeders in the business. Well, out of respect, I wouldn't put Eddie at number 1 because that was just a little bit unlucky. But Triple H, HBK, and Ric Flair, when they bleed, they do bleed. So, still, back to this match. They really had, it was, first of all, it was a rather long match, and it didn't appear that way. They really made the almost 30 minutes, I believe 28 minutes, around that. They really made it seem like the time just flew or just passed by. It just flew by. It wasn't, you didn't think you just watched a 30-minute bout. Same with Katsuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi in New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you watch a half an hour of those two guys and you just think, well, that was nice 15. What? So, nice match. definitely nice match. It was very entertaining, thrilling. There was some suspense, of course. And, well, HBK dominating a lot of the match maybe even helped it a lot because, well, Cena at that time didn't have the experience to really drag someone else through a match, but he always could go along with someone who knew what to do in the ring. And that speaks for itself because many people don't know how to do that. Cena does and did, so great match. At number 4, the name in 2004, WrestleMania 20, HBK, Triple H, and he who shall not be named, not Lord Voldemort, but Chris Benoit. Well, let's just say Benoit winning the Rumble, really great. Benoit winning this match here, just plain awesome. Him and Eddie standing in the ring after the match because after both won their respective titles. That's one of the best WrestleMania moments of all time. That's magic you cannot really create. That's something that just naturally comes to some people. And with Chris Benoit at that time, it just worked perfectly, together with Eddie. And the match itself, well, Triple H always knew, as I said in another video, he's a ring general. He knows what to do in the ring. HBK is the showstopper. He's one of the greatest performers in wrestling ever. And then you have Chris Benoit, who maybe doesn't have tons of charisma as the other two, but he certainly has makes it up with even more tons of intensity, and is just plain awesome technical skills. So everything about this match was just great. It was just almost perfect. Best three-way I've ever seen, or triple threat. Three-way sounds a little bit wrong. Best triple threat I've ever seen. So it has to be on this list and has to be ranked up high. So before we have that, and now I have to look a little bit here. We have some honorable mentions. Because as with the last list, where the mentions were rather dishonorable, 4 matches came close to make it to the list. Well, it's my list, so in the end I get to decide, but I had a little system worked out with points, and I don't want to bore you with that. So 4 matches came close to be on here. And, well, I want to start off with WrestleMania 6, in chronological order. WrestleMania 6, Hogan versus Warrior. Well, in the ring it was not exactly a great match, it was not that good, but still one of the best Hogan matches I've ever seen, and were it not for the matches against Randy Savage, certainly the best match I've seen from the Ultimate Warrior. As I said, were it not for the matches against Randy Savage, who were way better. Because in the ring, Randy Savage knows how to work. Hogan didn't and doesn't, and I don't care. Still, there was tons of atmosphere. You could really, the Silverdome, I think, the dome in Canada, in Toronto, just exploded in this match. There rarely was such an atmosphere as in this match, and that really speaks to it. And it was the first face versus face main event of WrestleMania, and not to mention Hogan being beat clean. Whoa. Vince really must trust the Warrior. Still, not a great match in the ring, but with everything else considered, just magic. But not magical enough, as it wasn't good enough in the ring. WrestleMania 12 in 1996. The boyhood dream came true for HBK when he defeated Bret Hart in a 60-minute Iron Man match. And, well, the build-up was good. The atmosphere, well, it got good. Problem with the match is it's a 60-minute Iron Man match, and what HBK and Bret, and it hurts me to say so, what they did in the ring, well, in a 30-minute Iron Man match, they could have done almost everything they did in the 60 minutes. But 30 minutes were not special. WCW did it before, so they had the 1 hour match. And the first half hour, I think, was almost exclusively rest holds. And yeah, you can say, oh, they're playing mind games. Oh, that's strategic. But god damn it, most of the matches both guys wrestled at that time were maximum 30 minutes. And even then, they didn't strategize that much, like they wanted to believe you that they did here. And of course, you have to pace yourself if you're going 60 minutes, and you know you're going 60 minutes. Makes sense. But in the end, the first half hour is rather boring. After that, it gets better, and the last 10-15 minutes, we really have a nice match. And of course, with everything considered, it was a great match, or still a good, not great. It was a good match. Almost made it to the list, but, well, I think the 60 minutes were just too long. Then we have WrestleMania 22, the big time, I think it was. And the main event was John Cena versus Triple H. And at that time, when I watched the main event and WrestleMania 22, I wasn't too big on John Cena. I was one of the haters. Of course, it really pissed me off that he won against Triple H. Still, the match, after having rewatched it, the build-up was good, the atmosphere was good, and the match itself, well, was not an instant classic, but still was a very good match. Triple H and John Cena just worked, and, well, looking past the fact that Cena won the match at a time where I didn't like him and didn't want to see him as the winner, if you look past all that and that Cena beats Triple H, one of your teen heroes, that's how old I am. No, but honestly, more seriously, it was a good match. Both didn't wrestle the greatest match of all time, but still, it really worked well. And then last but not least, at the honorable mentions, we have the WrestleMania 28 main event once in a lifetime. Well, after the WrestleMania 27 main event was a little build-up for this one. Well, of course, the build-up going over a year, that's they really did it good, or did it well. It was a great atmosphere, great build-up. Well, the match itself fell a little bit short because Rock was never the greatest in-ring guy. He always worked with his charisma, his natural charisma, and just the atmosphere of the matches he had. He never was the best wrestler. He could tell a story, no doubt about it, but he was never the best wrestler, and it showed here because Cena isn't the best wrestler either, and so they carry the match with charisma and the storyline. So in the ring, it wasn't bad. It was pretty decent, but just didn't click that much, or as much as it should have done to be on this list. So enough time wasted with the honorable mentions. Onwards to number 3, Rock versus Austin, the second one at WrestleMania 17. Well, great build-up again, great atmosphere. The only thing that really prevents this match from being even one or maybe even two matches further up the list simply is it is undoubtedly one of the best matches of the Attitude Era, and practically some kind of swan song or eulogy for the Attitude Era, because after WrestleMania 17 the whole invasion stuff began, and the invasion, that's where something that WWE really screwed up. Rock versus Austin in the ring, well, it's no DQ, so don't care. They just go at each other, and it's a great no DQ match. Tons of intensity, and both charismatic guys, and it's just fun to watch. The only thing that really ruins it a little bit for me wasn't the heel turn Austin had, or did at the end, turning towards Vince McMahon and away from the fans. It was that it took a little bit too long to actually finish the match, and Vince beating on The Rock, it dragged on a little bit too much, and it was like, when the pinfall finally came, it was anticlimactic. And the pinfall has to be the climax of the match. So that's the only thing that really, that I really didn't like about this match. So it's not perfect, but it's close, very close. At number 2, I'm a Daniel Bryan mark, so of course I have to put this here on this list, and well-deservedly so. Daniel Bryan versus Batista versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 30. Well, we all know about the build-up. They tried to build up Batista versus Orton. And well, I don't even want to imagine how that would have went if it was just the two. But with Bryan in the mix and his match against Triple H at the start of the show to determine whether he could be in the or make the main event a triple threat match or not, just great storytelling. And the interference by Triple H, it all just worked perfectly. And still, was a great triple threat match. The only thing why this one is before the other WrestleMania triple threat main event is A, because I'm a Daniel Bryan mark, and B, because the story and the build-up were in the end at least worked out just stellar. And when Bryan finally won the title, that was for me even greater than Chris Benoit and Eddie celebrating together. Because they've come a long way from WCW, but Daniel Bryan has come a long way from he wasn't even an underappreciated star in a major company. He was a very appreciated star in small companies, and that's even a longer way because he is even smaller than Benoit and Eddie were. So And the triple threat match itself was not as good as the other one, but the whole stuff surrounding it, for me, worked a little bit better. So, finally, the best WrestleMania main event of all time. Undertaker versus HBK at WrestleMania 26. 2010. The big rematch of the first encounter those two had a year before. And, well, why is this on the #1 spot? Simply because it was a great match. The other match they had at WrestleMania 25 was a little bit better, but this match was great too. And let's just say it doesn't get bigger than that. It just doesn't. And probably it never will get as big as this match was. HBK came close to defeating The Undertaker the year before. And there were tons of scenarios how this could have ended. And honestly, HBK could have won here. And it was, for me, it was a real possibility, a real option. Because I didn't believe the streak would never end. Because everything ends. Anyway, probably the most stellar atmosphere of any WrestleMania main events during the match. And it's as big as it can get. And everything was just awesome. So, probably not the best wrestling match on this list, but all things considered, the whole package. So, whether you agree with me or not, don't care. Hopefully, you'll tune in next time. So long.